in summary, and I've done this a few times, so this is, as Kim knows, this is the condensed version. But basically what it is Virginia Reliability Project. That's what VRP, that's what it stands for. It's TC Energy, which is a Canadian energy company. You may have heard the name from, they're responsible for the Keystone XL pipeline. What this is basically there's an existing methane gas pipeline that runs throughout Virginia. What TC Energy wants to do as the owners of this pipeline is they want to dig up 49 miles of the existing pipeline and replace it with a pipe that is twice the size, which will pump out 4 times the methane gas as what it's pumping now. So for them to do that, it would be within 2 miles of, as you see listed there, 13 schools, a hospital, a veteran cemetery, Alfred G. Horton Cemetery, a veteran cemetery to be specific, in Suffolk, as well as the Great Dismal Swamp. And so for a plethora of different reasons, we don't want this to happen. Taking, for instance, the Great Dismal Swamp, it would ruin so much of that ecosystem and plants, wildlife, the waterways, as well as, animals. Some of this stuff can definitely not be replaced. We're not in a space where, some of those animals will be able to migrate. So there you might see plant life and animals that completely go away because of the construction of this pipeline. And who knows if they would even think or consider to do damage control on the back end to repair, replace, and all that kind of stuff. When you're talking about the veteran cemetery, just kind of digging into the canvassing part of this a little bit, as we're knocking on doors, the neighborhood we're currently knocking on is heavily active duty and retired military. And so, there are times when we're knocking on doors, as Kim knows, where you say that this cuts through a part of the veteran cemetery and it does strike a chord in people. And so, I think they should be a little bit more considerate when they're trying to propose things like this. And again, when you're talking about, being so close to a hospital and 13 different schools, now you're just talking about safety, those who would be trying to recover in the hospital, but also we're talking about our children, our loved ones and kids. And so, again, Hill Point Elementary, one of the schools along the pipeline, is literally 300 feet from the existing pipeline now. And so this is bad stuff. And going to the next point, we bring up the fact that there is a possibility that when you're dealing with methane gas, that there could be an explosion, right? But we don't say this to be dramatic. The fact of the matter is there was already an explosion on this existing pipeline when they weren't even trying to do any necessarily any construction on it. It just happened. I guess it was friction in the dirt in the ground. There was an explosion in Surrey in 1979. It injured 13 people and destroyed a few buildings. There is an actual documented incident report about this, and so we're not exaggerating for dramatic effect. There is concern, legitimate concern for something devastating to happen with them digging up this existing pipeline and trying to do this thing for what we would speculate would be just for the sake of more money. The good thing about all of this is, as bad as this kind of sounds, where we're at right now, or where TC Energy is right now, I should say, is they do not currently have all of the permits that they even need to begin this actual construction. So while they may be wording it away as if they're doing residents a courtesy by letting them know about the project, it's being worded as if this is a foregone conclusion, as if they have all their ducks in a row and all their paperwork filed, and they really don't. The bottom line is they need several permits for this thing to go through. And so we're at a critical point to where we can turn the tide. We can stop this pipeline expansion project in its tracks. And for that, we'll need your help. And so for that, Xander, we do have some next steps, some things that can happen right now. And as you see, there's a lovely picture of the other Charles Brown and Lyndon Godfrey from Sierra Club, and Carolyn, as well as Kim Williams, who happens to be delighting us with her face and her presence tonight on our first neighborhood canvas. And so we look to do that same thing this Saturday, April 22nd, which falls within Earth Day week, right? There's a lot of events are happening around the state of Virginia. And so we're tying this directly into Earth Day. What better way to celebrate Earth Day and to keep us moving forward than by actively informing residents in this neighborhood that will be impacted if this pipeline company gets their permits, by informing residents of this proposed pipeline and getting them to understand why this is so dangerous and why we need to stop this right now. And so again, this Saturday, April 22nd, we'll be doing a canvas in the Hill Point area of Suffolk. Now, the fun doesn't stop, people. So right after that, this following Wednesday, April 26th, there will be a FERC public hearing. We're also doing an ask for this. So anybody who has the ability and capacity to be present for that, we need everybody to show out in force, and to be there on the ground to give their statement in opposition to this pipeline project happening. We want to make a lot of noise. We want to be seen in numbers to let FERC and everybody know that we stand firmly against the pipeline project. And hopefully we can get some quality media hits and keep the momentum going, because as we've seen from the first canvas and those media hits, we got inquiries, we got more people wanting to join our side and understand what this is and wanting to spread the word with their neighbors and friends. And then it just keeps on rolling. So then mid-May, we'll be setting up a community conversation where we'll invite folks that we've already canvassed, as well as our environmental nonprofit org partners and residents and activists and civic-minded individuals to join us for this conversation surrounding just VRP. Be a slightly longer presentation on what it is, how we got here, and again, what we're going to be doing. And one of those things will be what's listed below, which is there is an open comment period that closes June 6th. So we want to give out information on that, as well as give steps on how to submit your comment in strong opposition to the project. The other thing that we want to do in this meeting is we want to get residents who feel strongly about the pipeline to tell their stories. So we want to put residents on camera and speak from your heart and let people know how this project can negatively impact you, your family, your loved ones, and your community. Knowing that if we get enough of these pieces of content, we can get them produced and we can disperse them to social media, to media outlets, and really, really get the word out. I think we're clear that with all of the things that we found out just in doing research about the VRP, the more people that we tell about this project that we make aware, the more powerful the impact. And so we know as the number grows, the more opportunities that we'll have to build this into a really, really strong, even stronger coalition that can make some real impact, put some pressure on elected officials, and reverse the tide on this thing. And so going next, I think what we'll do is we'll pause on the information and do a Q&A.